We are fully committed to ensuring our progressive challengers, Cynthia, Jumaane, and our terrific candidates running against the Independent Democratic Conference. You might call them Trump Democrats, support for Republicans. Ensuring our progressive challengers, Cynthia, Jumaane, and our terrific candidates running against the Independent Democratic Conference, you might call them Trump Democrats, given their support for Republicans, win this September and November. We also strongly support our allies, Comptroller Tom DiNapoli and Attorney General Eric Schneiderman, in their campaigns for re-election. We are already working to get out the vote for Working Families endorsed candidate Shelley Mayer in her key special election in 2 weeks, so we can win a progressive majority in the state Senate.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Perhaps most important, we're ready to go to the mat for progressives in key congressional districts across New York that could decide who controls Congress. We have a lot of work in front of us.
Yes.
But one thing is clear. If we're going to win and transform our state, the old way of doing things just won't cut it anymore.
That's right.
For 8 years, we tried to work with Andrew Cuomo to transform New York into a truly progressive state. For 8 years, he broke his promises and kept the Republicans in power in the state Senate, blocking critical legislation for affordable housing, women's equality, and criminal justice reform, to protect immigrants, combat climate change, and fully fund our schools and universities, to fix our broken voting and campaign finance systems.
That's right.
Why did he keep the state Senate Republicans in power?
That's right.
To keep taxes low for his donors so he could continue to rake in contributions from real estate and hedge fund millionaires and billionaires. You think I'm exaggerating? Look at his campaign finance filing. $31 million to be exact in large contributions from wealthy donors.
Yes.
That was more important than struggling working families being priced out of their homes. It was more important than New Yorkers stuck in jail only because they couldn't make bail. It was more important than millions of kids going to underfunded schools.
That's right.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to do something different. We're supporting candidates who are with us from day one, who won't hesitate to take on the millionaires and billionaires who think the government only exists to fatten their wallets.
Yes, sir.
Who understand that economic justice and racial justice are intimately intertwined and have been since the founding of the nation, and that we can't address one without the other.
That's right.
We will stand up for women's equality, for the rights of transgender people, for tip workers and contingent workers with no benefits, for adjunct faculty who are barely scraping by. We'll support candidates who will fight to make sure every single New Yorker has health care. These are candidates who are committed to leave no one behind, who know that we are truly in this together.
That's right.
This is how we build a strong progressive movement that leaves the world a better place than we found it. To our friends in organized labor who are supporting Andrew Cuomo, we respect your decision and will always stand in solidarity with your efforts to organize workers and fight for fair contracts and economic justice.
That's right.
At the same time, the role of the Working Families Party is to transform New York into a progressive leader that puts the interests of all working families, both those in unions and those who deserve but don't yet have the protection of a union, ahead of the interests of the wealthy donors that dominate our politics and our economy. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill Lipton. I have
up front with the rest of the officers. And I also want to ask, before we proceed, I see some beautiful Working Families Party signs out there. Those of you who are holding signs, please come up here as well and stand behind us. Just want to take a moment to move the signs over here. Everyone with the sign, come on up.
Wherever you go.
All right, we're good. We got enough. That's good.
This is how we do it, This is how we do it,
All right, now, before we move, that's right, this is how we do it. I just want to say one last thing. I wanted to say, don't you all feel, isn't it time that we had a governor and a lieutenant governor who we can trust to do right by our families and our communities every day?
Yeah.
Today we are so proud to be members of the Working Families Party, where there's been a democratic process and members of the state committee have been heard. It is my pleasure to introduce one of my fellow executive members, Jonathan Weston from NYCC.
It is great to be here today as one of the co-chairs of the Working Families Party. My name is Jonathan Weston, and I'm a pesky community organizer from Brooklyn. I come out of the community organizing movement. I met Jumaane when I was working at Acorn in the largest rent subsidized complex in the country, at Starlight City. Jumaane was there.
Yes!
During on getting people out. And Jumaane was there from the beginning in the fight to keep that complex affordable. So it is my pleasure to introduce our candidate for Lieutenant Governor, another pesky community organizer from Brooklyn.
Y'all done started some shit now, huh? I am so proud to be in it with y'all, I'll tell you that right now. I say it's time, you say let's go. It's time!
Let's go!
It's time!
Let's go!
It's time!
Let's go!
My name is Jumaane Williams. I am a first generation American.
That's right!
I have Tourette's syndrome and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I am a public school baby from preschool to masters. I also happen to be a black man. In just a few months, because of all the people in this room, I'm going to be the Lieutenant Governor of New York State. I usually have a lot of words. I'm so honored by what you've done here today. It's so emotional to me. It is one thing when you get support from people. There's another when you get it from the people you've been in the trenches with.
Yes!
The people who know you, who have been mad at you at times,
Yes!
who have seen the good and bad and still say, we got you.
Got you!
There's nothing better than when family has your back.
Yes!
And that's what's happening today. I really appreciate that. And I just want to tell you, as a proud Democrat, as a proud progressive, anybody worth their salt who says they're progressive and says they're Democrat, I'm not only proud to seek, but I'm proud to accept the Working Families Party. Anybody who says, I'm not naming names, but anybody who says they would not accept the endorsement of the Working Families Party is not a true progressive in New York State. And I'll tell you that.
Right.
The best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. Now we spent 8 years, you know, I hate to use the word lies, so maybe I'll say missed promises that have occurred over and over and over and over again. How many times can you say something is going to happen, it doesn't happen, and you expect nothing to happen? There was a price to be paid. and that is the price of people who don't just put on a progressive jacket when it's popular, who don't just test the political winds and see which way it's blowing, who don't just ride the wave of blue, but create the wave of blue. Those
Right.
people will stand up and say no more. Those people will stand up and say enough. That type of leadership that we've displayed in New York State is not the type of leadership we need to replace Donald Trump in the White House. I'll tell you that right now. We need tried and true blue. I think it was Nina Turner that said, any blue just won't do. As I traveled the state, and I think it was Sister Rosemary that said, all the pain seems the same no matter where you go.
That's right.
And I wish there had been a lieutenant governor to push back on all the things that I've been seeing now. Push back on hashtag Cuomo's housing crisis. Push back on hashtag Cuomo's transportation crisis. Push back on hashtag Cuomo's inequality crisis. All of the people across the state are pointing to the gubernatorial mansion and saying we are looking for leadership and finding none. I gotta tell you, and this is a numbers thing, I was shocked recently to understand all the things that we care about can be funded. Every single last one. There is about $20 billion in fairness fees that are out there right now. When Pataki was around, they cut the taxes of the most wealthy among us. And to pretend they knew how to work a budget, they passed all the things they used to fund to the localities that couldn't afford it. So they started cutting and cutting and cutting. And what this government has done has put an arbitrary spending cap on the budget. So even if we recaptured those $20 billion, he will not allow us to spend it. But I'm going to use the office that I'm about to get to spread far and wide that we have the money to pay for these things. And if we don't pay for it, there's going to be some hell to pay in New York State. The nation is looking at us, everybody. The nation wants to see what we're going to do. And to the people who are talking about party unity, we believe in party unity. But we have to unify around something that is real. Stop telling us to unify around things that we do not believe. The other side, for whatever reason, their folks told them that they believed in bigotry. They told them that they believe in hatred and xenophobia. They told them that they believe in anti-Semitism. They believe in anti-Islamophobia. They believe in anti-LGBTGNC. They believe in gender inequity. And they voted for that person. Our party needs to listen to us because we are saying we believe in love. We believe in equity. We believe in justice. We believe in repairing the fractures that have happened. Those are the things that we want to unify around. They said, no justice, no peace. That means a lot. If you ask for peace, we want justice. If you ask for unity, we want real progressive policies and real progressive action. We are tired of lip service, and what has happened today is that we are no longer going to accept policy by polls. We are no longer going to accept lip service. We are going to prove here in just a few months that activist energy will defeat billionaire dollars.